Hi everyone, it's Lisa. Today I'm going to show you how to make these cute little tiny paper sketchbooks. And these are great to put inside a travel notebook, and you can change them in and out, and they're super cute and fun to do your kawaii drawings in, or take notes, or use your calendar. What you're going to need for this project is some paper scissors, pencil, and a ruler. And then you're going to need some stiffer paper. This is called cardstock, and you can use any colors you like. I already have a yellow and an orange, and I'm going to make a pink and a red. And then you also need 4 sheets of paper for each book. So I have 4 sheets of plain white paper. You could use sketch paper or printer paper or lined paper, any kind of paper you have. And then I have 4 sheets of blue just for fun. So what you're going to do is you're going to find out where the middle is of your paper, and you could do this 2 ways. You could fold it, or you could measure. So in this case, I folded it and unfolded it, and then I'm going to carefully cut along this line through all of the sheets of paper. Now, if you happen to have a paper cutter that cuts straight shears, then you would really be in luck, because that's the easiest way to do this and to do it really well. Otherwise, just be super careful. So now I have what was 4 sheets, now I have 8 sheets of paper, all in this size of half a sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this other paper, and I'm going to demonstrate the measuring method. So I know my paper is 11 inches wide, so half of 11 is 5.5. So I can make 2 little dots at 5.5 inches in, and then turn the paper sideways. Whoosh! They all came apart. Turn the paper sideways, connect up your dots, and draw a line. So let's just find the line there, and again, touch your pencil right on that line, and then knock your ruler right up against it. And then over here, touch your pencil, make sure your ruler is right up against it both times, and then just draw a nice faint line along your edge. And then you're just going to cut along here again, nice and slowly and carefully. Alright, so these are the sheets for my white pages notebook, and I now have enough to make each of these booklets with 16 pages. So now I'm going to do the same thing, which is measure and cut to make my covers. And so I can probably cut these both at the same time, or you could cut them one at a time. Same method, just find your middle of the page at 5.5 and draw a line down the middle. So here I go, 5.5. 5.5. You could just fold and cut, but especially for the cover, it's better if it's super precise. And then I find my 2 lines, flip this over so it doesn't shine, put my pencil right on that dot, and line up the other side so it's touching in really tight on both of those, and then draw my line, just like that. Okay, so if you trust yourself, then you can cut 2 at a time. If you don't trust yourself, then I recommend cutting them 1 at a time. Alright, so this is actually enough to make 4 books, so I'm going to put these 2 away. I don't need them. Now, I have white paper and I have blue paper, and which color should I put together? I'm going to make... oh, I don't even know, it doesn't matter. I'm going to make the cover of the white paper book using the red cover, and I'm going to make the blue paper book using the pink cover. So what you're going to do is fold your paper in half. So you can line them all up and fold them over and fold them all at once, or you could fold them 1 at a time, and this can be more precise because you can get a nicer fold on the inside edge of the paper. You're gonna snuggle them all up with each other when you're done, but the idea here is to get your edges folded nicely. So after you do them all, you're just going to sit them all back inside of each other like this. Okay, so I did some of them at the same time and I did some of them individually, but now I'm just going to put them all back together so that they're just all sitting into each other like this, making a little booklet. And then I'm going to fold the cover super carefully lining up my corners and making a nice score. Okay, so then I'm going to place my sheets inside the cover, and you're going to notice that they stick out the edge like this. So the next step really is to make a staple. So you can just open this back up and put your stapler into the middle and then staple this down. Okay, so make sure your pages are all lined up nicely, and then open it up and put it into your stapler, and then lean down and look over this way so that you can see where the staples are going to come out, and then staple straight through that part and do another one. It doesn't have to be lined up, centered, or anything like this. It just has to hold your book together, and you could even do it the other way around. Doesn't matter. But the next step is to trim off all of these sticking out edges, because it'd be nicer if the book didn't have pages that were stuck out further than the cover. So the way you can do that is two ways. One is to keep it folded in half and just do half of these at once, and use your nice sharp scissors and cut very slowly right along the edge of the cover. This is the fastest way to do it. Straight along, using the cover as a guide. And I'm also keeping my finger pinched along the back so that it doesn't slip away from me. Now I've done half, and then the back half needs to be done. The other way you could do this is one sheet at a time, drawing a line and cutting, and drawing a line and cutting. But to me, that's excessive. I don't need it to be quite that precise. So I'm just going to keep it folded in half, pinching it as I go, and trimming exactly along the edge of my pink cover without cutting the pink cover. That is sometimes the tricky part, is managing to not cut the thing you don't want to cut. Hold it all together and trim along. Because what's happened is the pages that are in the middle of the book are slightly closer to the edge because of the way we stapled it, by hugging them all in together. Alright, so now you can see the edges of this book are all equal, except right here I left a little piece sticking out. Okay, and if you wanted to make it even more perfect along the edges here, you could do the same thing, because sometimes the sheets are not exactly lined up. This is picky details. Doesn't really matter for your little booklet. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for the red book with the white pages. Fast way, just to show you that it's not a whole lot different. So great big fold, all of them at once, and great big fold. There's only one anyway. Put the pages inside, open it this way, get your stapler, place it on the edge, staple through, and then check out your edges to see where you need to trim it. I would never recommend cutting through this whole book at once, trying to trim it. It's hard enough to trim through just 8 sheets. I mean, you're not trimming 8. Obviously, maybe you're only trimming 7, because the one that's closest to the cover doesn't really need to be trimmed at all, because it's sitting right inside. Alright, so there's one edge, almost. If you don't stay close enough or go slow enough, it's really hard to go back and improve what you've done. Now flip and do the back. And I don't recommend making a video about it while you're doing it. Really concentrate so that you can follow super straight along the edge. Alright, so now we have a colorful inside page notebook and a white inside page notebook. And I also have 2 notebooks that I made before, and we can put all of these now into our notebook holder. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our loop of elastic that we made at the end of our last video. So if you're just loading in 1 or 2 notebooks, you can just use the elastic that's already provided here in your notebook portfolio. But if you wanted to put in 3 or more, then you're going to need some extra loops of elastic. So this was just some regular braided elastic that I've cut and tied into loops. And so to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to find the middle of 2 of your books, like this. And so I've got this one open to the middle, and this one open to the middle. And then I'm going to take this elastic and I'm going to thread it over this edge of the book like this, right into the middle. And then I'm going to take my next book and I'm going to also have it open to the middle and thread it so that it pulls through like this. And then we can close it, and now you can see the two books are being held together by one piece of elastic. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take this closed up book and pass it underneath and slide it all along until your holding elastic is on either side of the one that's in the book. And now these two little notebooks are both attached to your first elastic. And now we can do the same thing with these two. Okay, so same thing, open to the middle, this is the one with the blue pages, and slide this over, find the other one, open to the middle, slide it in. So this is the same method that you would use to just attach one book into this middle section of the notebook holder. And then we'll make sure they're both spine to spine, attached like this. And then we have to decide what order we want these in. I'm going to put it this way, so my white pages are staggered. So now I just keep these two little booklets closed up, and I put it inside this elastic, and pull it all the way through until the elastic meets between the spines of these two. Alright, and so then I can close up my whole book and bring my elastic around the edge to close it. So now inside my little carrier I have 4 little notebooks, and I can open it up and they lie flat because there's no big spines to hold them in. Well, they will lie flat eventually. They're freshly made, so they still want to open a bit. But this is a great way to take your sketchbooks and travel notebooks with you, so you can do your little drawings on the go. And then when your little notebook is full, you just take it out and leave it at home and get another one to fill up your next book. So if you only have one that you want to put in, you don't need this elastic at all. You just need to put the book through the actual holder in the travel case. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed watching me make these little notebooks today, and if you want to watch the video on how to make I like to call it a sketchbook wallet, or you could call it a notebook holder or a travel notebook. There's all kinds of names for these. There's a quick tutorial to show you how to make these. You can make them out of vinyl or leather, or you could even make them out of some spare denim or other fabric you might happen to have. Alright, so thanks for watching. See you next time.